In the cold stillness of space, silence is not just common, it is the rule. Planets trace their orbits in utter quiet. Stars ignite, collapse, and vanish without ever making a sound. For centuries, humanity assumed that if anything intelligent existed out there, it would need to shout across the void for us to hear. But that assumption was wrong. The universe does not always scream. Sometimes its most profound messages arrive as whispers, hidden in data, buried in the faintest distortions of light. And that whisper came on July 1, 2025. The Atlas Observatory in Chile picked up a streak against the black canvas of the Milky Way, a blur so faint it nearly vanished into background noise. At first, astronomers thought it was nothing more than another comet, a harmless drifter of ice and dust. But within hours, doubt began to spread. The object was moving too fast, over 137,000 miles per hour. It wasn't following any known orbit, and, more unsettling, it wasn't bound to the Sun at all. It was simply slicing through, a visitor not of our solar system but from the deep unknown. Only two such objects had ever been recorded before: Oumuamua in 2017 and comet Borisov in 2019. Both had sparked fierce debate. But this new arrival was different. Larger. Faster. Stranger. Scientists across the globe turned their instruments toward it, and the James Webb Space Telescope soon joined the watch. What Webb revealed defied all expectations. Its chemistry was wrong. Its trajectory was unnatural. Its behavior was disturbingly precise. And deep within the light it reflected, analysts uncovered something no one was prepared for: a signal. A pattern. A structure that should not exist by chance. For decades, humanity has wondered what the first alien message might look like. Would it be radio waves? Symbols? Some kind of universal mathematical code? No one expected it to come hidden in the ratios of molecules, disguised in spectral anomalies, the language of physics itself. Yet the evidence was undeniable, and it pointed to a chilling conclusion. This object, officially designated 3I, Atlas, may not be natural. If it is transmitting, then the question is not what is it saying, but rather who is it speaking to. From the start, its speed alone was a warning. 137,000 miles per hour is not just fast by human standards. It is blistering by cosmic ones. At that pace, 3I, Atlas could cross the United States in under 2 minutes, orbit Earth in less than 8, and outrun Voyager 1, our most distant spacecraft, by more than double. Voyager required decades to crawl beyond the edge of the solar system. This object was born out there. The only ways to achieve such speed are either through the violent chaos of early planetary formation or through something else, something deliberate. And its trajectory? A perfect hyperbola. It didn't loop inward like a comet. It didn't curve gracefully around the Sun. It cut through space like a blade, plunging in from above the plane of the planets and exiting in a direction no natural body from our neighborhood should ever take. This was not just another rock. This was a projectile. A galactic messenger with a story written in silence and velocity. And the story only grew stranger. When Webb captured its spectrum, scientists expected to see the familiar fingerprint of a comet. Water vapor dominating, with carbon dioxide and trace metals trailing behind. Instead, they found the opposite. The ratio of carbon dioxide to water was 8:1. To put that in perspective, most comets release more water than carbon dioxide. Some rare exceptions flip the balance to 2:1. But 8:1? That was unprecedented. The object was venting 129 kilograms of carbon dioxide per second, compared to just 16 of water. That is not the behavior of a natural comet. That is chemistry screaming against the rules. Then came something even harder to explain. The Very Large Telescope in Chile detected nickel, but no iron. On Earth, and in every meteorite ever studied, nickel and iron are inseparable partners, forged together in the hearts of dying stars. But here, only nickel appeared. No iron. No precedent. No explanation. A fingerprint unlike anything in nature. And some scientists began to whisper what others dared not. What if the fingerprint itself is the message? Trajectory added another layer of unease. 3I, Atlas wasn't drifting randomly. It seemed to be moving with purpose, weaving through a series of near misses with major planets. Within months it would pass 29 million kilometers from Mars, then skim past Venus, and finally brush within striking distance of Jupiter. At first, this seemed like coincidence, until Avi Loeb and his team ran the probabilities. The odds of such a sequence happening by chance? Just 0.005%. 1 in 20,000. And it wasn't just where it passed, but how. The path mirrored the logic of gravity assists, the very maneuvers human spacecraft used to steal momentum from planets without fuel. Voyager did it. Cassini did it. New Horizons did it. And now, 3I, Atlas was doing the same. Not by accident. With precision. Even more unsettling, at the moment it would be most active, closest to the Sun, the object would slip behind it, perfectly hidden from Earth's view. During its brightest, most revealing phase, it would be invisible to us. A coincidence? Or a maneuver designed to conceal? Then came the pulse. Embedded in its reflected light was a repeating structure. Not an audio transmission, not a radio burst, but a modulation, precise, rhythmic, and unmistakably structured. It echoed patterns found in error-correcting computer code. Not random. Not natural. Artificial. And that's when the theories split. Some argued it was the echo of an unknown propulsion system. Others insisted it was deliberate communication. A broadcast hidden in plain sight. If so, then who was meant to decode it? Us? Or someone, or something else? Meanwhile, the object began distorting starlight in ways physics couldn't explain. Its gravitational lensing was too strong for its calculated mass. Light bent more than it should, as if the object were manipulating its own gravitational field. Stranger still, the distortion shifted, responding to when and where it was observed. Some astronomers dared to ask the impossible. Is it aware of being watched? And then came the whispers, both literal and psychological. Across continents, people with no connection to astronomy began reporting vivid dreams of a glowing eye in the sky. Patients with no shared backgrounds described the same visions. Even stranger, many of them sketched patterns eerily similar to the emission graphs from Webb and the VLT. Patterns they should never have known. Was the signal reaching not only our instruments but our minds? Governments responded in the only way they knew how, by silencing. Webb's data portal went offline. The VLT's feeds suffered unexplained outages. Requests for information were returned blacked out. Behind closed doors, internal NASA memos labeled 3I, Atlas as a Type 10 anomaly, a classification never before acknowledged publicly. The narrative was not denied, only buried. Yet some clues slipped through. Archaeologists noticed that the pulse patterns matched ancient symbols carved into caves over 20,000 years ago. Spirals, grids, lines etched into stone from Mesopotamia to Peru. Warnings, perhaps, from a previous encounter. Had this object passed before? Were our ancestors trying to preserve the memory? If so, then 3I, Atlas was not just a visitor. It was a returning presence. As it drew closer to perihelion, anomalies multiplied. Old satellites long decommissioned began waking up, transmitting strange signals in sync with the object's pulse. A Cold War station in Greenland, silent for decades, suddenly reactivated. An abandoned submarine base powered on sonar systems with no human input. Around the world, forgotten machines stirred as if they had always been waiting for a trigger. And the strangest effect of all, time itself began to ripple. Instruments measuring light around the object recorded distortions, as if seconds stretched or contracted depending on perspective. Some signals arrived twice, as though split across timelines. A phenomenon physicists now call a temporal dissonance field. To some, this meant the object wasn't just traveling through space. It was manipulating time. And perhaps, communicating through it. Finally, when its trajectory was traced backward, the path led to a dark, empty region of interstellar space. A void with no stars, no planets, just silence. But in Voyager 1's telemetry logs from 1989, researchers found something that had been dismissed as an error. A sudden magnetic pulse recorded in that exact region. Now, reanalyzed, it matched perfectly with the projected path of 3I Atlas. The implication was chilling. Voyager may have been the first to trigger it. And now, decades later, something had returned. Not as a signal. Not as a probe. But as a consequence. Across the void, it moves, silent, precise, deliberate. Not screaming. Not roaring. But whispering in physics, in chemistry, in dreams. We once asked whether we were alone. 3I Atlas answers in a way more terrifying than silence. Because it is not just passing by. It is watching, adapting, responding. This is not discovery. This is activation.